to go back and share. Yes. So the poem, as I said, is quite interesting and to some extent really funny. But it's not funny because, as I said, it looks to represent or as if it represents the modernist or the modern style of poetry, as we shall see later on, of course, not now, or maybe not this year or this term. And here, the example of this is again to see how poetry is written. It's like a message here, or like really. Um, well, it's not narrative, but it's like a beginning of a small narrative. Notice what he said, this poem. I asked them to take a poem and hold it up to the light like a color slide, or press an ear against its hive. I say, drop a mouse into a poem and watch him probe his way out, or walk inside the poem's room and feel the walls for a light switch. I want them to water ski across the surface of a poem, waving at the author's name on the shore. But all they want to do is tie the poem to a chair with a rope and torture a confession out of it. They begin beating it with a hose to find out what it really means. Well, what do you think of this? I asked them to take a poem and hold looking like this, take a poem like that and see what do you see inside it, against the inside. Well, when you write a poem, really, you can't see anything inside it. And, he said, or press an ear against its hive. Means this. So as if to say there's something really precious inside, like honey in a poem, but there's no. In fact, he wants to mock the way people sometimes read the poem in order to find really something delicious and something sweet and tasty. Say, put a mouse in it and watch him probe his way out. Look at the mouse, how the mouse would be walking inside this inside this room, he said, and to see Well, I don't know today. I'm sure there's something strange, really. I'm losing connection all the time. I'm sorry, but this is life. So, are you back again with me? Are you back again? Yeah?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, we are here.
Hello? Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Really, today is strange day. Everybody everywhere. So the idea. Notice I'm saying here the way the poetry is read. People, he is saying people. Poetry is not only meanings, and that's why he's using these images to the room, a room which is he's comparing the poem to a room. I want them to water ski across the surface of a poem. Now again, he's comparing a poem to a sea, and using a water ski, like skiing over like a lake or really sea. And normally we see sea of knowledge, sea of information, sea of wide thing. And he's comparing the poem to that. He said, if you are looking really good things from this, you won't find any. Come on, stop this, please. Come on, what's going on today? Yeah, today Oman Tel is funny. Huh? Are you back with me again? Boys and girls. Ala? Where is Ala?
Yes,
Yes, Doctor, we
Doctor.
are audible.
Yeah, with the network. Okay, can you still see the screen?
No.
No, I have to share back again. Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible. I don't like these interruptions. So you see here the poem as if to say that this, he wants to say, come on, people must read poetry not only for knowledge, not only for information. Don't try to torture a poem into saying something. It may say something, but it may not. So he wants to say poetry, first and foremost, is the outside, the form, the language. And then the meaning comes. And really, this is an interesting example here, if you like, of somebody here writing a poem to tell us a story or to narrate a story. And as I say, this is the first poem I want to give you here as an example of early narrative poetry and early introduction to what is poetry, really, in a way. Now, the next poem here is Edwin Arlington Robinson, another poem, really, which is really an amazing poem here. The poet is American poet Edwin Arlington Robinson, and he wrote this poem called Richard Cory. And here, this is again a very good example of a narration. It's like narrating a story. It's absolutely like telling a story, a short story by somebody called, or about somebody called Richard Cory. And here you can see a narrator. You know, for example, he said, whenever Richard Cory went downtown, we people on the pavement looked at him. He was a gentleman from soul to crown, clean favored and imperially slim. You know, yes, it's a lovely poem. You can see it's small rhyme, and the stanza is quite neat and small. There is rhyme, town, crown, him, slim, A, B. You know, this is what we mean by rhyme A, town, and crown. So we say A and B, him, A, B, and then A, B. Now you have to say to me, why do you say A? Well, A is the first letter of the alphabet, really. This is how we use it. A, B, A, B. And then you say, the one after that, you say, and he was always quietly arrayed, and he was always human when he talked, but still he fluttered pulses when he said, good morning, and he glittered when he walked. You see, again, arrayed said, or arrayed said, here, again we say, so we said A, B, so we move to C. So C, C, D. Do you follow?
Yes.
Do you understand what
Yes,
I'm
Doctor.
doing here? It's pretty simple.
Yes.
This is how we use, we call, this is rhyme. I'm looking at rhyme. If I want to scan this before I speak about the nature, notice, whenever Richard Cory went downtown, how many syllables here? I say whenever. How many syllables?
3.
Huh? 3. Very good. Say it.
When
Can you say it? Very good. Yes. Whenever. Whenever. Richard. You say Richard. Corey went downtown. Isn't it? When, and stress. You know, here really easy. When, very, Corey went downtown. Isn't it? And stress. When, very, Corey went downtown. I'm just, you know, separating the lines for you, or to show you, you know, the division of the between feet. So here we have 4. So we call this tetrameter. When, very, to, shadko. No, actually 5, not 4. So really, it's simple. Later on, I will try to draw with you certain lines together. I will do it later. Now, here you can say, we are saying that this poem is, we said, narrative poem. When we see here the first section, you see somebody or a narrator, he said, you know, talking about Richard Corey. It's a short story really here. And he's telling us information about this man called Richard Corey. So he said, whenever he goes to town, we people are looking at him. He looks nice, and the way he describes him, it's like a short story. So he's giving introduction, and the way he's dressed. Notice he was always arrayed, the way he's dressed, the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he speaks. He said, good morning. You see, this is narration. It's like telling us a story. And then he goes on. And when he was rich, yes, richer than a king, and admirably schooled in every grace. In fine, we thought that he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place. Again, notice the same rhyme, king, thing, grace, place. King, thing, and grace, face. Again, to go back to the same thing, to continue the line, we said, you can say the same, really, you go to the same set. So we said at the beginning, we said A, B, C, D, E, F, again here, G, again H, G, H. Really, light, night, head, bread, head. You know, we use the alphabet, the you know, the letters, and this is how we do really what we call, as I said, the rhyme. But the poem, I'm giving you this poem for one reason. I say here, it's like a short story. It's telling us about a man called Corey, and the way he speaks, you know, yes, it's poetry, but really the main thing here, it's really, it's like a short story telling us about this man. So he was rich, yes, richer than a king. Fine, we thought that he worked and waited for the light and went without the meat and cursed the bread. And Richard Corey, one kind summer night, what's going on here, Ala?
Yes. Yes. Hello.
Why this? What do you think this bullet through his head. He killed himself. Why? What's wrong with him? Huh?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, if you look at the poem, yeah, boys, Sultan or the other boys, sorry, I'm calling Sultan all the time because I remember his name, Anas and Ismail. Anybody would like to say something, Nabiha? Huh?
Doctor, your voice to me is lagging. It's not clear.
Oh, my voice is not coming to you properly.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
We can hear you now, Doctor.
teacher. Yes, only now I can hear you.
Yeah, now I lost connection again. My God, this is terrible. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Really, today we are very unlucky about this connection and disconnection, connection and disconnection. Really, I was just saying to you that this poem is an example of a narrative poem, and here we seem to be reading a poem which is very strange. The narrator begins telling us, like a narrator, like someone telling us a story about a man called Richard Corey. The way this man goes about in the town, everybody likes him, everybody looks at him. And he said, we people on the pavement looked at him. Here, when he said we people on the pavement, as if, you know, the word pavement and we people, you know, as we shall see later, he is compared to the society. Richard Corey is a rich man, whereas we people are normal people, and sitting on the pavement means we are poor people or we are workers. We are, you know, very down to earth people, whereas he is a gentleman. Notice he was a gentleman from soul to crown. The way, you know, he's describing him from head to toe, from head to toe, from toe, his soul means the bottom of his feet, to the crown, to his head. He's absolutely gentleman. Again, the way he's describing clean, very nice, and everybody likes him. and the way he said the clean, favored, very well attractive, imperially slim, the way he looks slim and nicely shaped, his body, etc. Again, the way he was always nicely dressed up. He was always, again, good when he talks. Notice when he talked, but still he fluttered pulses when he said, you know, the way he speaks, he's always making jokes. You know, this is the way pulses. The way he says, good morning. And he glittered when he walked, the way, you know, he's described here. And all this really very romantic description of this man. And we see here really the narrator is admiring him in a lot of ways. And we feel a lot for this man Corey, and that's why we get shocked at the end. Then why was he unhappy to kill himself? Again, when the last or the third stanza, he said he was rich. God, yes, richer than a king, and admirably schooled. So he very rich, even richer than a king. He went to the best places, to the best universities, the best schools. Notice admirably schooled in every grace means he learned all kinds of beautiful, lovely, good things, moralities, whatever, from that school. So he was absolutely fine in everything. We thought that he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place. So everybody started to say, oh, I wish I were him. So, and then suddenly, in the last paragraph or the last stanza, we get shocked when he said, and so on we worked. So here the narrator then is a worker, or could be a slave, a member of the working society, slaves. And this Richard Corey could be the slave owner, and could be a rich man, could be an ugly man. And maybe that's why at the end, you know, they were very maybe envying him. It's to do with envy, not just admiration. And that's why maybe, you know, this man at the end of the day, he killed himself, because again, the idea that appearances are not everything. People sometimes really, or the misconception of things. You see things, you think that somebody is very happy, the way he looks or she looks, but deep down, they are very sad. So that's why here he said, and on we worked, you know, as if to say, we are the workers, and we started going back to our work and waited for the light, meaning working for the whole day from sunrise to the sunset, and went on and went without the meat, meaning we were working and working and working and hoping to get fed, to get food, good food, meat, but nobody gave us anything, and cursed the bread. Now this line really is very strong here. Curse the bread? Normally we don't curse bread, because we say bread is really a blessing, is something really a blessing. If you see a piece of bread on the ground, you pick it up. In Syria, this is when we were kids, we were told, if you see a crumb of bread on the floor, on the ground, anywhere, even anywhere, you pick it up, you even kiss it, and then put it somewhere where nobody can tread on it, which is really a sign of respect, because bread, we live on bread. You know, that's why here we say, when you say you curse the bread, is something really terrible. And that's why he said, we were very unhappy, we were very terrible, and we were miserable. We were waiting and waiting. Nobody cared for us. They killed us, starved us. So now we get the idea that this is, you know, this is really, as I'm saying, a slave owner, and these people are slaves. And maybe that's why Richard Corey, for some reason, you know, killed himself. And, you know, funny enough, sometimes, really funny enough, you know, these high rich people, sometimes most of them commit suicide, because I think, you know, from like Michael Jackson or people, crazy people like those, I'm sure you've heard of those people who, some of them, of course, I'm not saying all, But some people who are super rich, sometimes they don't know what to do with themselves. And really, this is the idea here. I said, and Richard Corey, one calm summer night, went home and put a bullet through his head. Allah yarhamu. Huh? What do you think? Hello?
Yes, Allah yarhamu.
I don't know. I said Allah la yarhamu, but I don't know if this is good or not. But really, this is the idea. The question here, really, the man, the narrator is here. You can see the feeling, the story. He's angry with him because the way he says it, he's ironical. He said he puts a bullet in his head, to say, "Har aw maizara," isn't it? This is, as we say, of course, if you like, in our sometimes, funny Syrian dialect. And really, this is strange how we do that, and really, this is quite interesting to see this poem as really a very good example of a story. And here we are not surprised. This man, Corey, could be, as I said, a slave owner, could be a miserable man. So we are not surprised that he killed himself. And that's why maybe, as I said, we may say, well, example, uh, um, uh, another example. I will show you this. Find it for you. Screen. Hello?
Hello,
Hello,
doctor. We can
doctor.
hear you.
I don't know.
There was sound.
Yani today I'm
Just now the sound.
it's amazing what's going on here. Why? Today is a funny session. Okay, I was saying here, I'm giving you another example of a narrative poem called Mending Wall. Look at it here in your booklet. It's page 47, and really it's a very good example, absolutely good example of a narrative poem, and by a poet called Robert Frost. His name is here. Really, it's a very good example. Mending Wall, and as I said here, I gave you analysis of it. Now you can read it here. Everything there is clear. You can read it. You can study it on your own easily. But I will read it for you, and maybe briefly, because today we've lost a lot of time doing that. So here the poet again telling us a story, the same thing, narrative. Something there is that does not love a wall, that sends the frozen ground swell under it, that spills the upper boulders in the sun, and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. The works of hunters is another thing. I've come after them and make repair, where they have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding to please the yelping dogs. Again, you can see here, no rhyme, really no rhyme. Wall, it, sun, breast, thing, repair, stone, no rhyme. You can see no rhyme. But if you want to scan it, you can scan it as we can say blank verse. You know, something there is that does not love at all. Something, one, there is two, that does two, not love two, at all two. You know, unstressed, again the same. Something there is that does not love a wall. You know, this is how we scan. This is how we scan. We say again, unstressed stress, unstressed stress. So we say again, iambic. Something one, two, there is, doesn't, five. So five. Iambic, pentameter. Iambic, pentameter. So the meter is, as I said, iamb or iambic meter. Really, it's very easy, but there's no rhyme, no rhyme. And the poem here I'm reading really for you, I'm giving it to you today if you like, because it's telling a story. Someone and his neighbor, they have a wall between them, you know, between their houses and their gardens. They are neighbors and they have a wall, you know, between them. And this wall is getting torn every time, every year, and they have to rebuild this wall again. And that's why he said mending. Mending, to mend means to repair, to go back and build again, to restructure, to reconstruct again. So he's saying, you know, there's something, I don't know, he said, there's something in this area which does not like a wall. You know, this wall is not nice. We don't, it seems that nature doesn't like it. That's why it's falling down all the time. You know, that's why he's saying here, something there is that does not love a wall, that does not love a wall. As if to say, there's something mysterious in this garden between me and my neighbor that, you know, that this wall is always falling apart. And I don't know, we have to go back and build it again every year. It seems that nature itself does not like this wall, and I don't know who is tearing it apart every time. How come this wall is always being torn into the ground? Again, that sends the frozen ground swell under it, that spills the upper boulders in the sun, as if to say, this wall is big, is high, and the stones boulder, the big stones, all the stones fall down. Saying, again, it's telling us about this story, about this wall, how this wall is broken and so on. Really read this read the poem for next time, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sorry today we had so many hiccups because of this connection. I don't know. We were just unlucky this morning. I don't know what's happening. But please read the poem. I will read it next time quickly. Study it and study the details here I gave you in the details in the analysis. Okay, read the analysis and I think you will understand the whole poem. But I will go back to it next time quickly, okay? Now, the next poem after that, I will give you more examples of, lyric poetry. So this would be enough about narrative poetry. We said Richard Cory and here Mending Wall as two examples of narrative poetry. Okay? Any question, anything?
Thank you, Doctor.
No, Doctor. It's clear.
Yeah, good. So that's it. If you don't have any question, thank you for listening and being with me. And I apologize. I don't know. Oman Tel should apologize, not me, but this is it. Anyway, thanks very much. And I'll see you next time.